There is a powerful truth about life that many people do not want to hear. Nobody is coming to save you. The world is not waiting to hand you success, peace, or happiness. You can spend your whole life blaming others, pointing fingers, and feeling sorry for yourself. But in the end, the only person who can change your life is you. Think about this for a moment. Imagine you are holding a cup of water. At first, it feels light. 1 minute, 2 minutes, even 10 minutes. You can hold it without much pain. But what happens if you keep holding it for 1 hour? Your arm will ache. If you hold it for a day, your muscles will scream. If you hold it for a week, your arm might stop working. This is exactly what happens when you play the victim. You carry the weight of pain, regret, and anger every single day. At first, it may not feel so heavy, but the longer you hold it, the more it destroys your strength, your energy, and your future. And here is the shocking part. Nobody forced you to keep holding that cup. You chose to keep it in your hand. So today, my friend, I am here to tell you something simple but life-changing. Stop playing the victim. Put the cup down. Release the story that keeps you weak. Step into the story that makes you strong. Why people play the victim. Let's be honest, my friend. We all love stories where we are the hero. We enjoy imagining ourselves as the strong character, the one who wins, the one who never gives up. In our minds, we are brave, bold, and unbreakable. But when life becomes difficult, something strange often happens. Without even noticing, we change roles. We stop being the hero of our own story, and we slowly begin to act like the victim. Now, why does this happen? Why do so many people fall into the trap of victimhood? The answer is simple but powerful. It feels safe. Being the victim gives you an excuse. It allows you to say, "It's not my fault. Life is unfair. People don't understand me. I can't succeed because of them." At first, these words sound comforting. They make you feel like you do not have to fight anymore. They give you a reason to stop trying. And for a short while, this feels good. The victim role is comfortable because it asks nothing from you. You don't need to try hard. You don't need to take risks. You don't need to face your fears. You just wait for others to notice your pain, to give you attention, to rescue you, or to feel sorry for you. You sit and hope that life will suddenly become better without your effort. It is like sitting in a warm bed on a cold morning. You know you need to get up, but the bed feels too safe to leave. But here is the danger. The longer you stay in the victim role, the weaker you become. Playing the victim is like sitting in quicksand. At first, it feels soft, almost safe. But the more you stay still, the deeper you sink. The more you blame others, the less power you feel. The more you complain, the less energy you have. The more you tell yourself that life is unfair, the more unfair life begins to feel. Think about it. When you stay in victim mode, your eyes focus only on problems. You stop seeing opportunities. You stop believing in your own strength. You stop trying new things because you have already convinced yourself that you will fail. And once you believe you will fail, you do not even take the first step. This is how the victim mindset slowly kills dreams, quietly, softly, without you even realizing. Now let's compare this with the people you admire. Think about the great leaders you read about in history. Think about athletes who rise after injury. Think about creators, writers, or entrepreneurs who built something out of nothing. Think about someone in your own family who inspires you. Do you think these people became strong by blaming the world? Do you think they became successful by sitting and saying, "Life is unfair, I cannot win"? Of course not. These people faced pain just like you. They experienced rejection, loss, and betrayal. But they did not stay in that pain forever. They were hurt, but they did not make hurt their home. They were betrayed, but they did not live inside betrayal. They failed, but they did not label themselves as failures. Instead, they made a different choice. They chose to rise instead of remain broken. Here is the secret. Strength does not come from avoiding pain. Strength comes from refusing to stay a victim. Every strong person you admire had a choice. They could have blamed, complained, or quit, but they chose responsibility, action, and courage. That is why you respect them. That is why you call them heroes. But do you know what is even more important? You have the same choice. Every day, life asks you, do you want to be the hero or the victim? Nobody else can decide for you. You are the author of your story. You can write the story of someone who gave up, or the story of someone who rose above every challenge. So remember this truth. The victim role may feel safe, but it is not. It is a trap. It is a prison made of excuses. The longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to escape. If you want to live with strength, freedom, and purpose, you must refuse to play the victim. You must stand up, take control, and remind yourself, I am the hero of my story. I will not sink in quicksand. I will rise, no matter what. The story you tell yourself. Life is not just what happens to you. Life is also the story you tell yourself about what happens. This is a truth many people forget. They believe that events alone shape their destiny. But in reality, it is not the event. It is the meaning you attach to it. Two people can face the same challenge, the same pain, or the same loss, and yet, one rises while the other falls. Why? Because the story inside their mind is different. Imagine this. Two friends lose their jobs on the same day. Both feel shocked. Both feel worried. Both feel uncertain about the future. But then something changes. The first friend begins to think, this is the end. I lost my job because the world is unfair. People like me never get ahead. Nothing will ever improve. I am unlucky. I am hopeless. The story he tells himself is filled with fear, doubt, and defeat. Because of this story, he gives up. He stops applying for new jobs. He stops learning new skills. He tells himself there is no point, so he remains stuck. The second friend reacts differently. Yes, he also feels worried. Yes, he also feels the pain of losing a job. But his story is not the same. He says to himself, maybe this is not the end. Maybe this is a chance to start something new. Maybe I can use this time to grow. Maybe I can learn a new skill. Maybe I can prove to myself that I'm stronger than I thought. This story gives him hope. It gives him courage. It gives him energy to move forward. Because of this story, he starts applying for new jobs. He begins to study something new. He opens his eyes to opportunities he never noticed before. Now stop and think. Both friends lost their jobs. The situation was exactly the same. But one became a victim, and the other became a fighter. The difference was not in the problem. The difference was in the story they chose to believe. And this is the same for you. Your life is not only shaped by what happens, but by what you tell yourself about what happens. The story you repeat in your mind becomes your reality. If your story is weak, you will live weak. If your story is strong, you will live strong. Think about it like a movie. You are the main character. You are the director. You are also the writer. Every day you are writing a script in your head. You are deciding whether your character will rise or fall. You are deciding whether your character will give up or fight back. The question is, what kind of movie are you writing about your own life? Is it a tragedy filled with excuses? Or is it an inspiring story filled with courage? The truth is, the story you tell yourself is more powerful than you realize. If you say to yourself every day, I am unlucky, I am broken, I cannot change, then your mind will believe it. Your actions will follow it, and your life will reflect it. But if you say, I am strong, I am learning, I am growing, then your mind will believe that too. Your actions will rise to meet that belief, and your life will begin to transform. Here's something powerful to remember. You cannot always control what happens, but you can always control the story you choose to believe. Life may give you pain, but you can choose whether to call it punishment or preparation. Life may give you rejection, but you can choose whether to call it the end or a new beginning. Life may give you failure, but you can choose whether to call it defeat or a lesson. This is the secret that separates victims from fighters, quitters from winners. Victims tell themselves a story of weakness. Fighters tell themselves a story of strength. Victims focus on excuses. Fighters focus on possibilities. So, my friend, I want to ask you, what story are you telling yourself right now? Is it a story that keeps you small, or a story that pushes you forward? Is it a story that makes you powerless, or a story that makes you powerful? Take a moment to be honest. If your story is one of excuses, change it, rewrite it. Do not live your life as a character who gives up halfway through the movie. Live as the hero who keeps going until the end. Remember this. Life is not just about what happens. It is about what you make it mean. And what you make it mean depends on the story you choose. Choose wisely, because your story will shape your future. The cost of playing the victim. Some people may ask, but what is so bad about being a victim? Isn't it natural to feel hurt? Isn't it okay to cry and feel sad when life is unfair? And the answer is yes. Of course, it is natural to feel pain. Of course, it is natural to feel sadness when someone hurts you or when life gives you something difficult. Pain is part of being human. No one can escape it. But here is the danger. Feeling pain is normal, but staying in that pain is dangerous. Choosing to live in the role of a victim comes with a high cost, and you must understand what that cost really is. When you play the victim, the first thing it steals from you is your energy. Life requires energy to move forward. You need energy to work, to dream, to grow, and to create. But when your mind is focused only on your wounds, that energy disappears. Imagine holding a heavy bag filled with rocks. If you carry that bag all day, you will be exhausted, even if you do not walk very far. This is exactly what happens when you keep telling yourself the story of being a victim. You are carrying emotional rocks, anger, bitterness, regret, and self-pity. And those rocks steal the strength you need for the journey ahead. Another cost of playing the victim is that it blinds you to opportunities. Life is full of doors. Some doors close, but others open. Some chances disappear, but new ones arrive. The problem is, when you are crying over the doors that closed, you cannot see the doors that are opening. You are too focused on what you lost to notice what you could gain. For example, maybe you lost a relationship. If you keep telling yourself, "I will never be loved again," you will not notice the new people who could love you. Maybe you failed an exam. If you keep saying, "I am stupid," you will not notice the next chance to study harder and succeed. Playing the victim puts a dark filter over your eyes, and you miss the beauty of new opportunities standing right in front of you. The victim mindset also pushes people away. At first, when you feel hurt, people may feel sympathy for you. They may comfort you and give you support. But if you continue to stay in the victim role for weeks, months, or even years, their patience slowly fades. Nobody likes being around constant negativity. People get tired of always hearing complaints, excuses, and hopeless words. Instead of lifting you up, they begin to avoid you. And what happens then? You feel even more alone, which makes you feel even more like a victim. Do you see the cycle? It is a trap. The more you act like a victim, the more people leave. And the more people leave, the more you feel like a victim. Another great cost of playing the victim is that it keeps you stuck in the past. Life is like driving a car. If you keep looking in the rearview mirror, you cannot move safely forward. You will crash. When you are always thinking about who hurt you, what went wrong, or what you lost, you cannot focus on building the future. You cannot grow if your mind is chained to yesterday. The victim says, "Look at what happened to me." The fighter says, "Look at what I will do next." Which one do you think will move forward? Let me tell you something from the heart. Life is far too short to spend it blaming others. Every minute you spend saying, "Poor me, life is unfair, people hurt me," is a minute you could have spent building strength, learning something new, or creating a better tomorrow. Time is a treasure, but if you play the victim, you throw that treasure away on excuses instead of using it for growth. So, the next time you feel tempted to sit in self-pity, remember the cost. Remember how much energy it steals. Remember how it blinds you to opportunities. Remember how it pushes people away. Remember how it keeps you chained to the past. Ask yourself, is this really worth it? Do I want to waste my life in this prison of victimhood? Or do I want to break free and live with power? The truth is, you cannot always choose what happens to you, but you can always choose how long you stay in the pain. Pain is temporary. Victimhood is a choice. Do not pay the high price of playing the victim. Choose to rise instead. Turning pain into power. The truth is simple. You cannot avoid pain in life. No matter who you are, no matter how careful you try to be, you will face disappointment, rejection, and failure. You will face moments where life feels unfair, where people betray you, where dreams collapse, or where opportunities slip away. Pain is not optional. Pain will visit everyone. But here's the important thing. The difference between strong people and weak people is not the absence of pain, it is how they use it. Weak people let pain break them. They let it destroy their confidence, their courage, and their hope. They say, "I am ruined. I will never rise again." Strong people, on the other hand, do something different. They take that pain and they transform it into power. They say, "This is hard, but I will learn from it. This is painful, but I will grow from it. This is heavy, but I will become stronger because of it." Think about rejection. Nobody likes rejection. It hurts to be told you are not good enough. It hurts to be turned away, whether it's from a job, from a relationship, or from an opportunity you really wanted. The victim says, "This rejection proves I am worthless. I should stop trying." But the fighter says, "This rejection is not the end. This is a lesson. This is practice. This is a chance to build resilience." And do you know what happens? Over time, rejection stops scaring them. They become tougher. They realize that rejection is not death, it is redirection. Now think about failure. Failure feels heavy. When you work hard for something and it does not succeed, the pain can feel unbearable. Many people stop after one or two failures. They say, "Clearly, I cannot do this. I should give up." But strong people do not let failure define them. They treat failure like a teacher. Every time they fall, they ask, "What can I do differently next time? What mistake can I correct? How can I improve my strategy?" Failure becomes fuel. It becomes wisdom. And that wisdom makes success more possible in the future. And what about betrayal? To be betrayed by someone you trust is one of the deepest wounds a person can feel. It can break your heart and make you question everyone around you. The victim says, "I will never trust again. People are terrible. My life is ruined because of what they did." But the fighter says, "This betrayal is painful, But it is also a lesson. It teaches me to see people more clearly. It teaches me to protect my energy and not give my trust too quickly. It teaches me wisdom. Betrayal may hurt, but it sharpens your mind and shows you who truly deserves a place in your life. Loss is another kind of pain. When you lose someone you love, or when something important is taken from you, the grief can feel endless. Victims drown in that grief forever. They say, "Life is meaningless without what I lost." Fighters, however, choose another story. They say, "This loss hurts me deeply, but it also reminds me to be grateful for what I still have. It reminds me not to waste time. It teaches me to cherish life." Loss becomes a teacher of gratitude, reminding us that life is precious and that every moment matters. Do you see the difference? Pain comes to everyone. But for the victim, pain is a prison. It locks them up and keeps them stuck. For the fighter, pain is a teacher. It guides them, strengthens them, and shapes them into someone greater. The victim says, "This pain ruined me." The fighter says, "This pain shaped me." The choice is always yours. You cannot control when pain comes, but you can control how you respond. You can let it destroy you, or you can let it build you. You can complain about the pain, or you can learn from it. You can stay broken, or you can rise stronger. So, the next time life brings you pain, and it will, ask yourself this question. Will I let this pain become my prison, or will I turn this pain into my power? Taking responsibility. Here comes the hardest part of growth and freedom. If you want to stop being the victim, you must take responsibility for your life. Responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything. It does not mean that every bad thing that happened was your fault. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes people will hurt you, betray you, or disappoint you. Sometimes circumstances are unfair, but taking responsibility means saying, "Even if it is not my fault, it is still my responsibility to rise." That shift in thinking is what separates people who stay stuck from those who rise to greatness. Think of it this way. If someone pushes you into the mud, that is not your fault. You did not choose it. But staying there forever, covered in dirt, waiting for someone else to come back and pull you out, that is your choice. You can sit there angry, cold, and helpless, saying, "Why did this happen to me?" Or you can decide to stand up, clean yourself, and keep walking. The mud on your clothes does not define you. What defines you is the choice you make after you fall. Which one sounds stronger? The one who waits or the one who rises? Responsibility is freedom. Many people think it is a burden, but it is actually the opposite. When you accept responsibility, you take back the keys to your life. You are no longer waiting for the world to change, for people to apologize, or for luck to suddenly appear. Instead, you change yourself. You shift your attitude. You take steps forward, even if they are small. This is how power begins. Power does not come from blaming the past. It comes from building the future. Imagine two people who lose their jobs at the same time. The first person says, "This is unfair. My boss ruined my life. I can't believe this happened to me." They sit at home, angry, waiting for someone to rescue them. Weeks pass, and nothing changes. The second person says, "This is painful. I didn't deserve this. But I can't let this be the end. What can I learn from this? What skills can I improve? Where else can I apply?" They take action, and soon they discover new opportunities. The event was the same, but the outcomes were completely different. The difference was responsibility. Taking responsibility does not mean you will never face obstacles. It means you face them with strength. Life will still throw challenges your way. People will still disappoint you. Failures will still sting. But instead of letting them trap you in a victim mindset, you will see them as signals to grow. You will not say, "Why me?" but rather, "What can I do now?" That small change in language turns weakness into strength. Here is the truth. Waiting for someone else to fix your life is dangerous. They may never come, and even if they do, their help may not last. The only person who will always be with you for the rest of your life is you. That is why responsibility is the key. When you say, "I will rise no matter what," you stop giving your power away. You stop being a puppet of circumstances. You become the driver of your own journey. Think about a house with broken windows. If you keep waiting for the person who broke them to come back and repair them, you might live in a broken house forever. But if you say, "It was unfair, but I will fix it myself," you regain control. The house becomes whole again, and you become stronger in the process. The repair is not just about the house, it is about your character. Every time you take responsibility, you build inner strength. This is why responsibility feels so heavy at first, but so freeing in the long run. Blaming is easy, but it keeps you trapped. Responsibility is hard, but it makes you free. Once you take it, you realize you no longer have to wait for permission to change. You can build, grow, and heal starting today. So the next time you feel life is unfair, remember this. It may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility to rise. Stand up from the mud. Clean yourself. Walk forward. The moment you take responsibility is the moment your true power begins. The mindset shift. If you want to break free from the victim mindset, you need to make a shift in the way you think. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant and water will grow. If you plant thoughts of weakness, excuses, and self-pity, those weeds will take over your life. But if you plant thoughts of courage, responsibility, and strength, you will grow the life you desire. Changing your thinking is not easy, but it is necessary if you want to step out of victimhood and step into power. The first shift is from, "Why me?" to "What now?" Many people spend their lives asking, "Why is this happening to me? Why did they hurt me? Why am I always unlucky?" These questions may feel natural, but they keep you trapped in the past. They keep your eyes on the problem instead of the solution. The person who stays stuck in "Why me?" waits for life to become fair. They wait for someone to rescue them. They wait for things to magically improve. But life does not work this way. The shift to "What now?" changes everything. Instead of focusing on unfairness, you focus on action. You ask, "What can I do next? How can I grow from this? What is my next step?" This simple change in language moves your energy from complaining to creating. The second shift is from, "It's not my fault," to "It's my responsibility." You may not control everything that happens to you. Sometimes bad things happen through no fault of your own. But you always control how you respond. When you say, "It's not my fault," you are giving your power away. You are handing your life to chance and to other people. But when you say, "It is my responsibility," you take back control. Responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything. It means understanding that even if life is unfair, you still have the power to act, to rise, and to move forward. You no longer wait for the world to change. You change yourself. That is how true freedom begins. The third shift is from, "I am broken," to "I am becoming stronger." Many people see challenges as proof of their weakness. They believe that one failure, one betrayal, or one loss means they are broken forever. But this is a lie that the victim mindset tells you. Every challenge you face is not a sentence. It is an opportunity. Every difficulty is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you start seeing yourself as becoming stronger rather than being broken, you transform your relationship with pain. You no longer fear challenges, you welcome them. You do not shrink from difficulty, you rise to meet it. These 3 mindset shifts are simple in words, but not always easy to practice. Changing how you think requires awareness, patience, and repetition. At first, your old victim thoughts will appear. You may catch yourself saying, "Why me?" or "This is not fair." That is normal. Do not be discouraged. Every time you notice the shift, every time you correct your thinking, you are training your mind. Just like exercising your muscles, the more you practice, the stronger your mind becomes. And here is the amazing truth. The moment you start practicing these mindset shifts, you will notice changes in your life. Your energy will return. You will stop feeling tired from carrying the heavy weight of self-pity. Your confidence will rise because you no longer wait for permission to act or hope for someone else to save you. And slowly, day by day, the victim inside you will disappear. The more you focus on action, responsibility, and growth, the smaller your victim mindset becomes. Eventually, it will vanish completely, leaving a stronger, braver, and more capable version of yourself. Remember, the world will not change to make things fair for you. Life will not stop giving challenges. But when you shift your mindset, you stop being a prisoner of circumstances. You take the driver's seat of your own life. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer complain, you create. And that is the true path to freedom and strength. So start today. Ask yourself, what now? What is my responsibility? How can I become stronger? These 3 questions, repeated daily, will reshape your mind and your life. The victim inside you has no choice but to disappear, a story to remember. Let me share a story that will stay with you long after you hear it. There was once a man walking through a dense forest. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and everything seemed calm. Suddenly, without warning, a heavy branch broke from a tree above. It fell straight onto him and pinned him to the ground. The man could not move. The branch was too heavy. His legs were trapped, his back was pressed into the dirt, and the pain shot through his body. At first, he screamed for help. He called out as loud as he could. He shouted for anyone, strangers, animals, even the trees themselves. But nobody came. Hours passed. The sun moved across the sky, and eventually, night fell. Darkness covered the forest, and with it came fear. The man's hope began to fade. He thought, why did this happen to me? Life is so unfair. I am trapped here. Nobody cares. I am going to die here. His mind was filled with despair. He could feel himself sinking into panic, imagining a life that would never continue. At that moment, he was a victim of the branch, a victim of his circumstances, a victim of life itself. But then, something shifted inside him. Somewhere in the quiet of the forest, he realized the truth. Nobody was coming. No one was going to lift the branch for him. If he wanted to survive, he had to act. The realization was painful, but it sparked something powerful. He understood that waiting, screaming, and blaming would not save him. Only his own hands, his own strength, and his own courage could free him. With great effort, he began to push the branch. At first, it did not budge. It was heavy, unyielding, and relentless. The man felt pain in his arms, his back, and his legs. Sweat poured down his face, and each breath felt like fire in his chest. But he did not stop. He pushed again and again, refusing to give up. Every small movement, every tiny shift of the branch was a victory. Slowly, he began to see progress. The branch rolled a little to the side. The weight lifted slightly from his body. Encouraged, he pushed harder. Hours of struggle passed. But finally, with one last enormous effort, the branch rolled away completely. The man was free. He stood up, bruised and exhausted, but alive. His body ached, but his spirit had grown stronger than ever. He realized something important. He could have remained pinned to the ground forever. He could have stayed a victim, complaining, crying, and hoping someone would rescue him. But instead, he chose to act. He chose to rise. He chose to survive. The lesson is clear and powerful. Life may throw heavy branches on you. Sometimes it is a failure that crushes your confidence. Sometimes it is betrayal that breaks your trust. Sometimes it is loss, disappointment, or rejection that pins you down. You may feel trapped, hopeless, or alone. At first, it may seem easier to cry, complain, or wait for someone to save you. But the truth is, your freedom, your strength, and your life are in your own hands. Only you can lift the weight, move forward, and rise. Every struggle is an opportunity. Every heavy branch, every challenge, every difficulty is a chance to discover what you are truly capable of. The man in the forest teaches us that victims wait and fighters rise. He teaches us that pain and struggle do not define us. They reveal our strength. You can choose to remain trapped by circumstances, or you can choose to act, push, and rise above them. The choice is yours. Remember this story whenever life feels unfair. Remember that the weight may be heavy, the pain may be strong, and the darkness may feel endless. But inside you is the same power that freed the man from the branch. You can push, you can fight, you can rise, you can survive. You are stronger than you think. Your choice, your power. My friend, I want you to take a moment and look at your life today. Be completely honest with yourself. Where are you playing the victim? Where are you blaming others for your mistakes, your failures, or your unhappiness? Where are you waiting for someone else, your boss, your partner, your family, or even fate itself, to fix your situation? It is easy to look outward, to point fingers, and to complain. It feels safe to say, "It's not my fault." But the truth is, every minute you spend blaming the world is a minute you lose power over your own life. Being honest with yourself is not always easy. It can be uncomfortable to admit that you have been giving your power away. It can be frightening to realize that the life you are living is partly shaped by the choices you have made, or the choices you have avoided making. But awareness is the first step toward change. You cannot rise if you do not first see where you are stuck. So take a deep breath and ask yourself, where am I waiting? Where am I blaming? Where am I refusing to act? Now, after that honesty comes action. Make a decision today. No more excuses, no more pity, no more waiting for someone else to solve your problems. From today, you will stop playing the victim. You will stop carrying the heavy cup of self-pity. You will stop waiting for life to become fair. Instead, you will take responsibility for your choices, your actions, and your attitude. You will rise, not because life promised you safety or comfort, but because you chose to take your power back. Remember this clearly. Victims wait for the world to change. They hope that someone else will come and lift the weight from their shoulders. Fighters, on the other hand, understand that the world will not wait, and no one owes them a rescue. Fighters change themselves. They take responsibility for their energy, their time, their actions, and their growth. Victims give away their power. Fighters reclaim it. Victims remain stuck in the past, reliving old wounds and mistakes. Fighters focus on the present and build a new future. The difference between staying small and rising strong is entirely in your hands. You cannot control every event, every betrayal, or every disappointment, but you can control how you respond. You can control whether you remain pinned by circumstance or whether you push, fight, and rise above it. Every decision, no matter how small, is a choice between victimhood and power. Every action, every word you speak to yourself, every story you tell yourself. These either weaken you or strengthen you. So, I ask you again, which one are you? Will you continue to wait, to blame, and to complain? Or will you take responsibility, rise above your pain, and reclaim the power that is always yours to take? The choice is yours, and it begins today. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you do next. Take your power. Build your future. Rise. Final words. The truth is simple. Life is hard, and it will not always be fair. Challenges will come, setbacks will happen, and sometimes it may feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on you. But here is the most important truth. You are stronger than you think. You have survived every struggle in your past, and you have the strength to face every challenge in your future. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is the story they tell themselves. Stop telling yourself the story of weakness, of helplessness, of unfairness. Stop telling yourself that life is against you. Instead, start telling yourself the story of strength. Tell yourself that you are capable, that you are resilient, that you can overcome whatever comes your way. When you change the story in your mind, everything begins to change. Your energy returns. Your confidence grows. Your courage increases. And slowly but surely, the victim inside you begins to disappear. At English Achieve, we believe in empowering every viewer to take control of their life. You do not need anyone else to save you. You do not need someone to rescue you from your struggles. The power is already within you. Every decision you make, every action you take, every step you take forward is a choice to reclaim your life and your strength. From today, make a commitment to yourself. Stop playing the victim. Stop giving away your power. Stop waiting for life to become fair. Instead, rise. Take responsibility. Face your challenges with courage. And most importantly, start being the hero of your own story. Life may be hard, but you are stronger. You can rise, you will rise.